Hey, Steven, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
Great. What an intro. I was enjoying the back and forth there backstage in your waiting room. Well, this is great.
Well, you missed the big argument earlier. That was
Were we
that's
are
normal. That's
were we arguing about zombies? What are we arguing about?
We argue about everything. It's always a debate. But you have made a film called, we see the poster in the background, Sheepdog. It's a very personal film. I think our audience would really enjoy it. Tell us about Sheepdog and how you got involved.
Sure. So, Sheepdog has been a 14-year journey to the screen. It's been a labor of love, but I had this life-changing moment in 2011. My car broke down. I was doing a movie as an actor in Vancouver, Canada, and I'd wrapped on it, and I drove through the night. It's like a 24-hour drive straight through. 21 hours into it, my car broke down 3 hours north of LA. I called AAA, and they sent out the local tow truck driver. And during that drive, he began to open up about his life, about the challenges he had in his marriage, being a father of three, his financial hardship. And then he began to share that he was on all these different medications that were tethered to his post-traumatic stress from multiple deployments. And he had traumatic brain injury, and he'd only been back, I think 18 months. But the point is, I don't think I said 3 words on that drive. And throughout it, he kept saying, I can't believe I'm telling you this. I've never told anybody this. I've never told my wife. I've never told a therapist. I get back to Los Angeles, thank him for getting me home safe. And I was certain that he would be happy to probably never see me again, because it was easier to tell a stranger this stuff than it was anyone in his community or his family or at the VA. And so that lit the spark. That was the seminal moment where it wasn't just my curiosity. It felt like a sense of responsibility to find out if there were more men and women like this tow truck driver, because I couldn't understand how somebody could serve their country honorably, be working their butt off to provide for their family, and feel so disconnected from everything around them, and to be suffering in silence. And so that summer I went on one of many, was the first nationwide road trip to uncover that truth. And I found out very quickly that indeed there were many more men and women like this tow truck driver. And that became the foundation for Sheepdog.
Let's take a look at the trailer for Sheepdog. I have it queued up right here, and then we'll talk about it. And we'll also take questions from our audience. We have 2,000 people watching live. Check out this trailer.
Wow. Am I under arrest?
You've assaulted an innocent man in front of his wife and baby girl. Do you remember any of that?
Does the defendant have any priors?
Resisting arrest, DUI, assault.
Hey! My client has been awarded a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star Medal for his combat service.
I'm ordering you to undergo a 60-day outpatient rehabilitation program. Good luck.
Nah, I'm not doing that. Do you know what the VA's put me through?
If you have a brain in your head, you're going to listen to me right now. Because the next time you try to provoke a lethal response from law enforcement, you might not have an angel sitting on your shoulder.
The courts think that you're going to fix me.
I hate to disappoint you, but I can't fix you. That's your job, not mine.
Did you know that your father got out?
He's a dangerous man, Calvin. Be careful.
We came back and they spat on us at the airport. No homecoming parade, no celebrations.
You can't pretend like you have any idea what it's like to be in combat.
No, but what I do know is this field of work that I've dedicated my life to has helped a lot of people.
When you got back, something was different. It wasn't that you'd changed. You'd been replaced.
You lose your morality when you go to war. And the hard part is coming back to a civilian society that doesn't have any idea what's going on in your head.
It's hard to believe my enemy is the man I used to be.
I bet you wonder, where's my tribe? And I ain't talking about no friendship neither. I'm talking about brotherhood.
What is it that you truly want, Calvin?
I just want to wake up in the morning and feel something.
My our pain is relative, son. Sometimes we gotta fall apart to find ourselves all over again.
Wait for me there, wait for me there.
You were willing to give your life for your country. Now maybe you can try living for it.
What are you feeding this guy? Look at this.
What do you want? I did 4 tours.
Of the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, okay. Little spicy, little spicy.
Wow. I feel like indie films are telling the stories Hollywood won't. A great cast too. I mean, Vondie Curtis Hall and Virginia Madsen, of course, from played Princess Erwin in David Lynch's Dune 1984. That's just what I know. Anyway,
Is that why you cast her? Was that?
Oh, we can go. Yeah, I'd love to talk about our cast and the casting process if you guys want to dive in.
Yeah, please.
So, okay, so 20 years ago, I'm on the red carpet at the Critics' Choice Awards. I'm there to promote The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, which was a TV movie with Jon Voight, and Virginia's there promoting, nominated for an award for Sideways. And I loved Sideways, and I obviously loved the speech she had on the process of a grape fermenting into wine. It was just mesmerizing. And I just said to her there, it would be great to work with you one day. We were on the press line together. I think it was her on one side and Jamie Foxx was there for Ray on the other. It was just very surreal. And you know, you don't think anything of it. You know, life goes on. And when I went to cast this project, she was doing a play. I was scouting locations in Western Massachusetts where we shot the film 6 months out. And she was doing a play in New Hampshire that was on veteran suicide. And I thought that, you know, I wondered, I just wanted to know more. And I went and saw it, and I had learned that she was a Gold Star family member. So I sent her the script, and I just wanted to hear her thoughts. But I really wanted her to do it. But I knew that the character she was going to portray as my trauma therapist was going to be close to home for her. And I was a little concerned about that because that's obviously very heavy and can be very emotional. And as her director, my job is to ensure that she feels supported and is a safe space. She read the script, and a week later I got a phone call, and she was like, "I'm all in." And that was a game changer. And you know, the speech that she gives on post-traumatic growth in the film, very, very similar in some ways to the speech in Sideways, the intimacy of the speech. She nailed that in one take, and it came from such a pure place. You could hear a pin drop on our set. Vondie Curtis Hall, he plays a Vietnam veteran. Some folks might know him from Daredevil or The Recruit. Mr. Hall, I saw his reel, you know, in the casting process, and it was a scene from the film Harriet, the Netflix film Harriet. He hadn't even spoken yet, and the camera was pushing in on him, and I believe he was about to deliver a speech to the slaves in front of him. And I jumped out of my chair. I could see it in his eyes and his soul. I was like, that's Whitney. That's the guy. That's him right there. And so Mr. Hall, I had learned in you know, talking with him, grew up in the Vietnam era. He had many friends that were drafted, many of which didn't come home. Some of those that did had post-traumatic stress. He has friends right now that are battling cancer from Agent Orange from serving in Vietnam. Dominic Famusa, some folks might know him from Nurse Jackie. He's on the reboot of Dexter. He was also in the movie 13 Hours, the Benghazi story that Michael Bay did, where he played one of the real life guys in that. And Dominic has done a lot of work with Adam Driver's foundation. You know, Adam Driver is a Marine veteran. So everybody sort of came at it with such a personal touch. And why that was important was because, look, in the storytelling, I was very specific. I knew what I was looking for. I knew exactly as the writer-director what I was looking for. But these folks, these incredibly talented actors, knew how high the stakes were. of like people ask in a 14-year journey, like, what's one of the hardest things? It's getting it right for the men and women that you're depicting on screen, whether that's the mental health workers, the Gold Star family members, veterans, and their families. And so they all came to set and they bared their heart and souls on screen to help tell this story in an authentic and moving way.
I think
We've
what's
got
sad
a lot
is
of questions from our.
Sure.
I was just
Sorry.
to say, I
Sorry,
think what's
Alan.
sad is that the story really hasn't changed over the last 40 years from Vietnam to now, and that the way we treat our veterans, the right people are not learning the right lessons.
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. I think what's also important to say too is that it's easier to valorize than it is to take care of our veterans. And I think that, like, our film never wags the finger at our civilians, never does that. It's not preachy. I just bring you into the world, to all the, dark and quiet, silent places of post-traumatic stress, but also show you in this is a redemption story. This is a film that's not about post-traumatic stress. It's about post-traumatic growth. And I often think that maybe why, like even in art and in films, is that veterans are often depicted as broken and, drug addicts or alcoholics and so on. And we touch on some of those things, but my character and any of the characters, no one feels sorry for themselves and nobody is broken. There are fragments. And I feel like that was important to show because as the storyteller and the screenwriter, I never judged the characters that I wrote. My job was simply to hold the mirror up and show you what I saw and what I experienced over a decade plus of research.
We've got a lot of questions
Sure.
and comments
Let's
from our
dive in.
audience.
Yeah.
Bush and Ryu Cat says, if it's out this weekend, I'll watch on my day off, Sunday.
Fantastic.
Sir Dirty Dog, damn, this actually looks good. Great casting. Jimmy Francis 817, looking good. Is this film available for us in the EU?
Not yet. It will be later this year. It opens nationwide today across the country in theaters. But it will eventually be, later this year.
And Pookie Malibu says, as a vet with close group of vet friends, they are family. I can 100% relate to this movie. Can't wait to watch. Thank you for making this film. And thank you for the super chat here. Someone asked, Paul Pierce Rocks for 199 says, is that James Murphy of LC's Sound System? I think he's
which guy? Which guy?
I think he's me talking about you.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's okay.
That's so random though, because I heard an LCD Sound System song the other day on Spotify that I loved.
Yeah, here we go.
Point.
Mars Monkey Max, wow. Thank you for telling our story. People have a hard time readjusting coming out of the military in general. It's a story that needs to be told. CD Stein 69, growing up the son of a Vietnam vet and having experienced those things overseas as well. This movie hits very personal. We'll have to check it out. Maybe hard to watch, but thank you for this. And Caveat Ties asks, how did you gather your crew?
That's a great question. So I knew I was going to shoot in Western Massachusetts. I didn't want any sound stages or green screens, and I wanted everything to be practical. I wanted the lighting I wanted it to feel for reference purposes like either a film in the 70s or a film in the 90s, the aesthetic. So I had to go after the folks that I thought could achieve that without using too many tricks. And so my cinematographer, Evans Brown, Evans shot The Terminal List for Amazon with Chris Pratt. But more importantly, Evans began as a gaffer. So 20 years he was a gaffer. So in his 30-year career, the last 10 years were being a cinematographer. So what that afforded me on a low budget film was that Evans could move through a space very quickly and light it and know how to sort of bend light you know, to make it look like it was shot on film. And so that was one component. You know, my aerial cinematographer, TJ Millard, he's also a veteran. He does all of Taylor Sheridan's shows. He's just incredible. He did us a huge favor. So in the opening of the film, you're going to get to really see, it'll really bring you into the world of Western Massachusetts. You know, I was really fortunate. Look, we were a tier 0 film. I mean, it's I need to say this to all your followers, because it's important to say, like, Sheepdog is a unicorn. This movie was made for under $2 million. And it's opening in 500 locations nationwide this weekend. Like, every obstacle was put in front of us to get to this place, and nothing was ever taken for granted, but nothing was ever easy. And so to be here and even be talking to you and your followers about this, like, I'm sitting here, we defied the odds, and I'm sitting here with so much gratitude and appreciation, because in independent film, this doesn't happen. And I'm happy to talk even about that journey and so on. But I also made the film outside of the Hollywood system because I was forced to. I was laughed at in so many rooms. I was told by so many studio executives, oh, nobody wants to see stories like this. Nobody cares about this stuff. It's never going to make any money. And then you get into, you're not playing the part, which I wasn't married to. You know, I was willing to step aside for the right person as long as they were going to do the work. And so it kind of left me in a place where if I was going to complete the mission, I had to go outside the system. So I raised all the private equity. I had deployments written in this movie. And the best advice I was given was by a friend of mine who was an executive producer on Lone Survivor. And he said, Steven, if you can't raise it all, don't shoot the deployments. Because he said the worst thing you could do is shoot those. And no matter how good your drama is in the present day stuff, that'll harm the film because of the accuracy and so on. And so I cut them. And I remember I was heartbroken about it because so much work went into it, but also for the story, I thought it would, you know, make it more entertaining or make it more powerful. And thank God I didn't. And thank God we made it for the budget we did, because the story benefited from it. When I open up in one of my trauma sessions about one of my deployments, I describe it rather than showing a flashback. I could see that sheep pen that I'm describing because I had met with the men in that unit and had shared over coffee for years the intimate details of that mission. And so that was all part of the process. And when you don't have money to throw at every problem, you're forced to act on instinct. And as the writer, director, and then the actor, that also afforded me to not overthink the performance. You know, I was forced to just act on instinct and trust the words on the page.
Let me ask, it's on 500 screens in the US?
Yeah, I think we're at 415 locations as of yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
80 Ellis 24 says Mike Rowe gave this film a glowing review in a blog post from November. That's excellent to hear if you follow Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
Great. Bush and Cat for 5 says, Steve, will you join us for Film Threat's next award show? It's actually January. Your movie is eligible for our award show next year. The only requirement is to be in release and get reviewed on Film Threat. So there you go. And we have a final question here from 80 Ellis. Veterans issues are criminally underreported by both the news and our entertainment. Mm-hmm. What was it that first compelled you to write this story? And did you always plan on tackling the lead role yourself?
So the what compelled me was the story with the tow truck driver, but what put the gust of wind into our sails was the first veteran that my co-star Matt Dallas. I wrote the screenplay, but he did some of the research with me. He went on that first road trip with me. The first veteran that we met with in McAllen, Texas. We went out there. We were so idealistic. We were going to spend 3 months on the road. He was the first veteran that agreed to sit down with us. We had cameras set up. You know, he opened up a little bit, and that was sort of it. And then when we packed up the cameras to go, he pulled me aside and he said, so you're going to make this into a screenplay, or you're the screenwriter? I said, well, I'm journaling now, but it might become that. And he says, let me tell you a story. And he opened up about what you will now see in the film that's loosely inspired by that story. And after he finished that, he took off his in memoriam band that had the names of his fallen brothers on it from that mission, and he held it out and he said, don't let me down. And I didn't want to take it. I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't think I had earned the moment. And he said, don't let me down. Matt Dallas and I get back in the car. We knew we had bit off more than we could chew. I did take the in memoriam band. And we thought, do we go back to LA where we live and just call it a day? We're not cut out for this. Or do we soldier on and see this through? And in that moment, we decided to complete the mission or die trying. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. We were willing to die for this. We got so far immersed into this world that the sense of responsibility was just so great that there was no failing. And that's part of why, like 14 years, like we were just going to see it through all the way to the end. To answer the last part of that question, this was never a vanity project. You know, my biggest concern was, so I didn't have to play the lead role. And trust me, you know, when you're already the writer director, putting yourself in front of the camera is an extremely daunting thing. And then to have to represent this character even more so. What I was concerned about, though, was that for folks that don't know, is that most actors don't get a lot of time to prep for a character. If you're Daniel Day-Lewis, he spent a year developing his portrayal of Abraham Lincoln, much to Steven Spielberg's dismay, because you know they had a schedule they were going to shoot. Most actors get several weeks. If you're lucky, maybe a month. I didn't want someone showing up to the set that was going to give me their interpretation of it, of the way they saw it. I wanted to give the interpretation that I knew it was, that I had seen, that I knew couldn't be acted. There's just a nuance that I just didn't feel comfortable by the time we got to camera. And that's why I did it. And thank God that I was supported by just such an incredible cast that was able to support my direction, but also elevate the story with their stunning performances. So I was very, very, very fortunate.
Steven, congrats on the film Sheepdog. Make sure you see it. Coming to VOD, I would assume at some point in the future, but in theaters
I
now.
think the date's in late February, but I will share with folks that, you know, and I'm just from experience, I'm in DC right now. I'm not running for office or anything. I'm at the National Guard headquarters right now. But we screened at the Navy Memorial Museum the other day. It's where they screened Top Gun Maverick when Tom Cruise came there.
Wow.
And Hurt Locker and films like that. But we screened to a full house, that in this emotional experience, this cathartic experience, to see a film with, you know, 200 people in a dark room, and it's profound. And so I encourage people to see it in theaters. I spent a lot of time on the sound design to really bring you into this world and the cinematography. Last thing I'll say, we did a sneak peek in Western Massachusetts in Greenfield, which is where one of the townships that we filmed the movie. And we did that on a week ago at their small indie theater. They hadn't had a sold out screening since Barbie, and the you know, all the local cast, crew, and vendors came out. A man stopped me afterwards, who had lived in this town for 35 years. He didn't work on the film, and he was a complete stranger to me, and he was in tears. One of his family members was a veteran, but he also said to me, I remember the days we used to do this. It was so nostalgic to be in a full theater where you share this communal experience, every laugh, every tear, every gasp. And I was just so struck by that. And so that's part of why I would encourage people to go out and see it on the big screen, to potentially have that experience.
I want as many people to see the movie as possible. See it on the big screen if a theater is near you. Steven, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And your next movie, come to us, and then we'll see you in a year at our awards event, I would assume.
I would be honored. I would be honored. I'd be very grateful. And thank you for sharing your platform with all your viewers, and thank everybody thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate it. You can go to sheepdogthemovie.com. It's connected to Fandango, all the different listings across the country from where it's playing. And if you're a veteran who's watching right now, you can go to vettix.org. As I said, we're the first movie that's ever partnered with them. You can be eligible to get free tickets to see Sheepdog if it's playing in your city. And if you're inclined to, you can pay it forward through VetTix, but through Sheepdog the movie, it's 100% tax deductible to send veterans and their families to see Sheepdog. So great.
We got to go Sheepdog the movie. See, this is
the movie.
Yeah, I guess why wouldn't Hollywood make this kind of movie? I actually think the Hollywood of 25 years ago would have made a film like this. And I feel like there's certain stories Hollywood won't tell. Look at this. Here's the website, Sheepdog the movie, and it's VetTix.
VetTix.org. Yeah, to sign up if you're a veteran or first responder. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. VetTix.org. I just want to make sure people see this. Okay, yeah, here we go. VetTix.org. There it is. There it is. VetTix.org. We'll put the link in the description for this. We're going to put the clip for this on our interviews channel so people can share it. And I really thank you for joining us today on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much. I love talking film, and I really appreciate like what you guys do. It's inspiring, and it's amazing. It's great, and it's a great breath of fresh air that you have such reverence for cinema. So thank you.
I have to say though, I think
I do love zombies too, though.
I have to say this is your story is one of few coming out this year of people who had to bypass the Hollywood system and put their own film out. Where Gore Verbinski was another one, his movie. And I think it's great that all dollars going to your movie and ticket sales doesn't go to a studio.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. The investors on this film trusted me. This is a big swing. Like, I'm sitting here in front of you on our opening night, and I'm terrified. As much as this is like a thrill and an honor, and I'm grateful to be at this point, it's like we are this is, frontiersmen right now without that studio support. So again, if more folks see it, more stories like this can get told out there. And I hope to be a champion for those filmmakers out there that are trying to tell those stories.
Steven, congrats on your success. The movie is Sheepdog. Don't miss it. Thanks so much. And see you in a year.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
God bless you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.